a low bonding score. No, I will not play through the game twice to do that. I'm sorry. Only way I'm willing to go for the achievement is if the final choice is all that matters. But I doubt it.
Now, if you ever come back here, I'm going to kill you!
Hey,
Bro, why is the user
Tyler?
data for Snapchat
I've been looking
351
all over the
megabytes for
place
me?
for you.
I don't use this
You
stinking
alright?
thing.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Whoa,
And Reddit is fun.
Can't
It's
sleep well
500
with you,
megs.
okay?
Does it
Come on.
cache? Actually, it's a 496 user data megabytes and then 500 cache. So I don't know what the user data it's saving. That's 500 megs. Not even logged in.
Listen, if you want to be alone, I'll go. But if there's anything
Does it
you need to get off
preload
your chest, I
thumbnails?
won't snitch.
Is that what? And then it caches them?
You saw Allison? How is she?
Yeah. I went back to check on her this morning. She was in a pretty bad way. Whatever went on between you two, it wrecked her.
Look, I don't want to drag you into this.
Well, I'm already in it, and you look like hell, so
I just got a lot on my mind.
well.
My Google,
I
just
know
Google
one
app
thing that's good
is
for that. As a wise
user
man
data
once
is 1
said,
gig.
fishing is the cure to the wounds of the heart.
Uh,
Was that wise man you?
Hey, like I said, I gotta write my own legacy. So, you in?
Got a
I don't
rat.
know.
Come on, we're burning daylight. Let's go.
Where are we gonna go?
Why go anywhere when we have a perfectly frozen lake right here?
Ice fishing in November?
Yeah, it got cold way fast this year. Climate change. That shit's gonna kill us. But hey, fish first. You can walk behind me if you're afraid, though.
You're actually serious.
I am a very serious man, Tyler. Let's go. We still have to get everything out of the car. Stage is set. It's showtime. Whenever you're ready.
You sure you don't want to go?
Nah. Look, no way I'm gonna rob you of your first catch in your own backyard.
All right.
about to be a pro fisherman. You don't even know.
Got everything you need, by the way?
Yeah, I'm good.
Man, I'm so gonna miss this.
Miss what?
Just hanging out and fishing and... You know, I'm not gonna have a lot of time after we move to Juneau with school and the JC and everything.
Right. Right.
So did any of the people you came up with at Fireweed land in Juneau?
Oh, I'm not sure.
You gotta
They
catch 3
left.
fish. Okay.
I never really kept in touch.
As we're in a minigame, so it's not really gonna be missable.
People came and went a lot. And besides, everyone moves on eventually, right?
Not everyone. Not people who get so close they're like family.
I already have a family.
Well, there's a reason we think of families as trees. They keep on sprouting new branches.
Do we?
Oh, hey.
Oh, you mean
I think
family
I've got a
trees.
bite.
You got this. Reel them in. Come on, pull up on the rod. Now give it a nice pull.
Okay, I got it. I shouldn't be missing this. Come on now.
I got it. I got it.
Oh my, that's a big fish.
Got it.
Bravo.
Watch the scales, my man.
First of many.
Pace yourself. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Thanks, Sensei.
Oh, hey, did you want to make solid plans to hit the buzzard hole? The river might ice over soon, so we shouldn't wait too long.
What is the buzzard hole?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet. I was planning to go Saturday. I'll pick you up on the way out.
Cool. I'll set my alarm to ass crack of dawn. You got anything good in there?
Maybe, but who says I'm willing to share?
Okay.
Okay,
fine,
keep it to
either way.
yourself.
You have this whole fancy bag.
He's
of
serious
ice
too.
fishing?
You don't
Wow.
mix and match. Ever.
Jeez, you don't mess around, do you?
Told you earlier. I'm a very serious man.
All right, here we go.
Me 3, huh? I got it. I mean, the achievement unlockage percentage was huge,
Okay.
so I
How
can only
about that?
imagine it's an easy
Nice
achievement.
job. So, you weren't all talk.
Impressed?
I only see 2 fish in my cooler.
For now. So do you always drive around with an auger in your car?
It's not how it looks. Okay, I swear. I was already planning on going ice fishing with the family this weekend. I made a mistake of forgetting the auger one, so we had nothing on hand but an ice chisel. That'll scar a man for life.
Fair enough. So, what are you gonna make with what we catch?
Hey, you got me figured out. Slice of fresh fish, topped with garlic, pesto, walnuts, just a drop of olive oil. Pure perfection. As my
Sorry,
partner
does,
in crime, you're entitled to a cut.
Tyler even have his fishing license?
Works for me, partner.
I'm the one who catches it, so I
So,
should be able to eat it.
About last night. I don't know what Allison said, but from my side, well, I thought we were on the same page. But it turns out we weren't.
Hey, so don't tell her I told you, but last week your sister was almost unbearable. She was jumping up and down with excitement at you coming back.
Really?
You better believe it. Look, the last time you saw each other, you were kids. Just because things have changed doesn't mean you can't work it out.
I know. It's probably my fault. I really pushed her last night. I just
You did.
don't get why she always has to run away from everything.
You blame her?
Avoiding the problem doesn't make it go away. She's so fixated on selling the house. It's like she's trying to bury the past. All of it. Even the good parts.
Look, I'm not picking sides here. Okay, but she's been murder house girl ever since it happened. Now she's got a chance to put it behind her and start fresh. Shit, I'd be pretty eager too.
I guess I didn't really think about that. I've been so focused on
Two
my own
bonding
shit.
points, let's go,
It's
baby.
been hard, you know? Figuring out how to live out here.
You mean outside of fireweed?
Yeah,
I hear on the ice.
when I first got there, all I could think about was getting out. It felt like a cage. But after a while, it started to feel more like a shell. I figured out who I was in there. But now I've got to work out how to be that person out here.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, none of us really know what we're doing. Look, shit may look bleak now, but your sister's never gonna give up on you. And you can lean on me too if you want. Just be careful, okay?
I'm waiting, dude.
Got a bad left shoulder.
I'll keep it in mind. Thanks for listening.
Don't mention it.
Don't you say anything.
Let's go. Let's go move. Nope. 5 catches? Maybe 3 again. 3 or 4.
Easy.
There we go.
Oh, Whoa. Bam. 3 out of 3.
Well played. I got nothing. That was clean.
I'm a little
Shima unlocked fished all the fish.
Can I ask you something kind of weird and maybe hard to answer?
Weird and kind of hard to answer my jam. What's up?
How'd you know you were ready to trust anyone enough to put yourself out there?
Okay. Yeah, that is a hard question.
Told you.
There's not really two ways about it. You gotta be willing to take a hit. Look, I stopped listening to the entire indie folk genre just because I was dumped at a show once. But I put myself back out there just like everyone who's ever gotten their heart stomped on. Because when you meet someone who really sees you, you don't have to pretend.
Those shoes, those laces.
Hard to argue with that. And you're still interested in being that someone? Even after all the shit that's happened?
Hey, I've got baggage too. I think it's worth a chance. Don't you?
Sure, whatever. I don't really
I
care.
think we're in total agreement here.
Yeah?
Yeah. I get this feeling like I could say or do anything with you, and it'd be cool. I feel safe.
You are. Because your sister would kill me if I did you dirty.
Yeah, she would.
So, doesn't look like you're catching anything with that. You want me to show you how it's done?
Go for it.
Hey, you're missing the show.
Sure.
You okay?
What's rural Alaska even like? I just can't imagine being that far from everything and also in snow. If that's the right term to use for rural Alaska. Wilderness Alaska. Did you got like what, like Anchorage and maybe one other city?
So.
Well, there's probably more than one, two cities, but
Yeah.
the major players.
that's one way to put it. Hey,
When it
I'll-
comes down to like USA territory, I really
I
don't
think I'll just
know
show
much.
myself out.
Other countries I'm pretty
Okay.
good with though.
Call me later.
You know I will.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's totally fine. We were done anyway.
Catch anything?
Mostly ice, but.
Three
yeah.
whole fish. You call it
I-
3 fish.
I'm sorry for freaking out yesterday. All of this. It's just been really hard on me.
Don't apologize. I was being an asshole. We should have never pushed you that hard.
Come here. God, why did I miss you so much? It's only been a day.
I've been told I have that effect on people.
You dum-dum. Okay, so I need to show you something.
What? You're kind of weirding me out.
Can we sit down for a sec?
Did it freeze? No.
So,
Okay.
what is
Apparently,
it?
there's
It was just
two
at
endings as
Sam's.
well. So,
He's not our father.
How do you know?
I asked him, point blank.
I'm not surprised. Burning down the barn didn't really seem like a Sam move.
Yeah, I guess it was silly to suspect him in the first place.
it was. He was the
Never met
bear.
Mary Ann's kids. There's something else. Look at this. This was taken in 1992 when Mary Ann first moved to Delos Crossing. See that ladder? Sam told me the barn has a loft. He helped her build it. Apparently, she never told anyone about it.
And it's still there?
As far as he knows, yeah. What do you think? Should we give it a shot?
We've come this far. And a hidden loft?
So I
That's
believe
got secret shit written all over it.
Let's go.
there is a puzzle in here that also has the when you do it get an achievement, but it also has the last piece for the collectibles. I think. Excuse me, I go first.
What do you
Man.
think is up there?
I don't know. I'm trying not to speculate. My brain was going to some real dark places.
Probably just storage.
It's probably just storage. We're gonna find like 13 years of National Geographic or something.
So why would she keep it a secret then?
The painting it up there, probably. Alright, I don't have to grab the ladder. Apparently.
What do you think is up there?
I don't know.
Alright. Poke it with a broom?
The handle should be behind this.
I didn't even look for the handle.
Ah, there it is.
Wasn't even looking.
It's opening up.
The secret keeper always did store all the best secrets in the clouds.
Yep. Come on, let's find a way to climb up there.
Like with this ladder? With this ladder, baby, let's go. Perfect size.
Can you see anything?
Oh, stinky.
Nope, nada. Here, found a switch.
They'll get you.
Holy shit. Well, that's
Yep,
shit.
it gets you every time, apparently.
My life.
It's a jawing of a hooded man. Hooded being.
Whoa.
It's
Her story.
look. She left us something.
Poggy pog. Pog.
It's got a combination lock with letters.
Do you think she hid the code somewhere in all this?
Knowing Mary Ann, probably.
Well, you want to do this?
Yeah. Let's start here.
What do we got here? Touch.
Seems like it's not doing anything. Maybe it's broken?
Or maybe we just need to solve the puzzles in order. We're not done with the other one yet.
Okay, what's the first one? One day she took her tiara and ran away to the forest. There she finally found happiness. That's the last one. You know what? Crafted Goblin's loot.
Why are these pictures from the Book of Goblins here?
I don't know.
Her cruel parents kept her locked away in the musty palace.
It looks like that little piece should move, but it's stuck.
Tyler, we're not done with this one.
I'm looking at things. The crafty goblin's good deeds. I mean, so you're apparently the first. Once upon a time, there was a young princess who felt hopeless.
Recognize this?
Yeah, it's from the story where the goblins tricked the Mad Hunter.
It looks like it, but it's different, right? Can you check the book?
Oh, here it is. Why do you think she changed the picture?
I don't know. Maybe it's a message. Like, the differences between the two mean something.
Something about Marianne, right?
The princess is in the water.
Since she's the princess?
Yeah. Why don't we try to find them all and then see if it makes any sense?
Once upon a time, in a castle beyond the ancient and deep forest, the Mad Hunter was punished by the Gold Lady for failing to return to the Wise Princess. For your failure, said the Gold Lady, I will take your left hand. You will return to an ancient and deep forest and hunt the Wise Princess, and if you can bring her back, I'll return your hand to you. Fail again, and I'll take your right hand. Mad Hunter could hunt with just his right hand, but if he lost both hands, he would never be able to hunt again. It would no longer be a Mad Hunter, but only a madman. So the Mad Hunter returned to the ancient and deep forest, searching with his piercing eye for the Wise Princess. The crafty goblins were out searching for mischief when they saw the Mad Hunter on the prowl. We cannot let him find the princess, said the goblins, and so they devised a plan. It was wash day, and the princess had hung her beautiful gown out to dry. They stole it from the where was I? Stole it from the line and stuffed it full of straw, and then returned to where the Mad Hunter was scouring his paths to the forest. As the Mad Hunter turned down a path that would have led him to a big wooden house, the goblins danced the straw princess in and out of view of the opposite direction. Thus, the ruse worked. The hunter fixed his piercing eye on them and followed through the day and into the night that led him away from the princess. As night fell, the crafty goblins realized the error in their plan. The Mad Hunter was now hunting them. If he caught them, he would not be kind, so they put their heads together. It looks like different text to me. Together to come up with a plan. It did not take them long to realize where they should go. They led the Mad Hunter to the edge of the deep and icy lake, and when he came into view, they weighed the fake princess down with fake stones and dropped her into the frigid water, careful not to plunge into the depths themselves, lest the moon hag take her revenge on them. Mad Hunter moved his clothing and dove in after her, the fake princess. He followed the shape of the sinking princess deep into the chilly water, down below where the ice covered the lake's surface. Finally, he caught her, but when he spun her towards him, he realized she had no head and that her body was stuffed with straw, and then he felt a slippery fin brush his shoulder, and the moon hag loomed overhead. The next morning, the princess went to retrieve her gown from the clothing line and found that it was gone. She immediately suspected the goblins of mischief and called, Goblins, did you take my gown? The goblin emerged from their cave and nodded sadly. Now what will I wear? Asked the princess. She said, and angry that she had lost her only dress. Let us explain, said the goblins. So they told the princess the story of the Mad Hunter. And then they produced his clothing, which was a bit large for the princess, but much warmer than her beautiful gown. She immediately forgave them. Thank you, my friends, she said, for rescuing me and for the clothing, which will keep me much warmer in the winter than my beautiful gown. The Mad Hunter was forced to remain below the lake with the moon hag, but she did not kill him because even reduced to just one hand, he was too useful as a servant. Lo, he plotted the day he would emerge to once again hunt the Wise Princess and earn back his left hand. And that is the story of how the crafty goblins rescued the Wise Princess from the Mad Hunter. So what else is different here? You have the princess in the lake.
About the differences.
The snowflake thing, dandelion, whatever you want to call it, is to the side here. That's how it is, actually. Never mind. This hand's in water.
It moves. Oh. Some of these parts are buttons. The princess is running away from the Mad Hunter.
Who was sent by the Gold Lady, according to the story.
Do you think the Gold Lady could have been Marianne's mom? I mean, she always used to say she moved to the end of the world to get away from her family.
Huh. Yeah, you're right.
Why do you think she added that castle in the background?
See the color of the flag? It could be her mother's castle. It Looks like the princess is running away from it.
So, Marianne ran away from home. And she grew up kinda rich? Huh. No goblins.
Yeah. In the original, the goblins managed to save the princess from the Mad Hunter.
So, we saved Marianne from something. But not in this version?
Goblin Street and the Mad Hunt, yeah, it's different.
It's not the same title, so I guess that counts as a difference? That's it. Whoa.
What's in there?
I got it.
Pictures, letters. Have you ever the Gold Lady? That was definitely her mom.
So, did Marianne grow up kinda rich?
Maybe. Would have been nice to have some of that.
An Olympic gold medal.
I can't believe she was a ballet dancer. Marianne.
Same thing.
Good one, too.
God, that's so not her.
West Covina Ballet Olympiad, 1981.
Oh, poor thing.
Why would she keep an old drawing of a pet in here?
It's Polly, bro. Wouldn't you?
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a picture of her that young.
I think that's her mom in the background.
Did you know she studied engineering?
No. But it looks like she changed her major to visual arts.
I don't think
what
she
it says.
actually got it changed. The paper's not signed and it's all wrinkled. Like someone tried to throw it away.
I can't do this anymore. You deserve better than that cliche bullcrap like it's not you, it's me. But the truth is it's all just been too much to deal with, and I've realized I'm just not ready. Maybe if we could have dealt with all this on our own without your mom constantly putting pressure on us, things could have been different, but the damage is done. It's probably too late for that now. I'm so sorry, you're an amazing person. You made me a better man. I hate myself for doing this, but I feel like we'll both be better off apart. There I go with cliches again. Please don't ever stop being who you are. I'm here, but I'm gone, Brent.
Could this guy have been any more cryptic? You think the guy with her is Brent? From the letter?
I would guess so. Tyler, see that little light? I think we need to solve this one next.
Where do I put these collectibles? Maybe we can listen to the dialogue for the last three. I mean, I heard you last time, so we're on Old Bear. The old bear
is a mighty beast who lives in a beautiful cave of ice. He is in love with the wise princess, but she doesn't love him back. The Gold Lady is the wise princess's queen.
Was those subtitles
who
right?
sent the Mad Hunter to drive the girl back to the palace. The Old Bear is a mighty beast who lives in a beautiful cave of ice. He is in love with the wise princess, but she doesn't love him
He is
back.
in love with the Wise Princess, but she only sees him as a friend. It's a bit different. He is love with Princess.
Here. The Secret Keeper. Hiding secrets in the clouds. Gold Lady stays locked up in her castle. The Old Bear's gotta be in his ice cave. We'll let the mangy muskrat have his rock back. The Ice King goes in the forest, obviously. There you go, stalwart moose. Back in your pond, Big Frog. That's the Pious Pelican spot. Crafty goblins go here. The Mad Hunter, always on the princess's trail. The wise princess goes in the big wooden house, of course. The Moonhag's gotta be imprisoned in her lake. The very old beaver definitely goes in her den.
Achievement unlocked. And everything is in place. Let's get back to these puzzles, huh?
There's the Gold Lady again. She's...
Cool parents kept
all
her
over
locked
the
away in
floor.
their musty
There was a
palace.
figure of her in that stash by the Mad Hunter painting, right?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe all of this is related to what we found in there.
chased away. I mean, this isn't related though, right? I mean, you had a bird, so I'm gonna put it over the bird.
Hey, I can move the piece next to the gold lady.
All these pictures. They look like images from Marianne's life before Delos, don't they?
Well, some of them do anyway.
Maybe that's it then. We need to figure out which ones are real?
You were a dancer.
The princess dancing, playing violin, spinning wool. I guess this is stuff she did for fun?
Notice how unhappy she looks in all these pictures? I don't think she was having any fun.
She left money? Is that what that one is? You'd bag of cash? Or is that a graduation hat? I really can't tell what that one is. I think she's trying to run away from the engineering,
The wise princess
Thing.
looks like she's trying to run away.
And she's being watched
and then
by
the
gold
artist,
lady.
Brent.
What's the gold lady do? Is that it?
I believe
It's
it's
opening.
working. So these give you what to do with the next
What's in
puzzle.
there this
Okay.
time?
That's the house, correct? Got the dock.
Is that Carol?
Yeah, and Sam. Look at him. He's so young and happy.
Wow. She worked for a watchmaker in Juneau before she moved to Delos. No wonder she was so handy.
My Delos Crossing pals number 555-327-6663. Let him know you were interested in the house he's selling, Tammy.
Her father.
I hope this letter finds you, Marianne, but since you didn't leave any contact information, I will have to send it to your aunt and hope for the best. Writing to inform you that your mother passed away last week. We had just had our funeral reception. The house has been filled with people all day, friends, family, colleagues, and church members. It's now 11 p.m. and I'm sitting alone at the kitchen table, surrounded by dozens of trays of food, flowers, and sympathy cards. Your cousin Aldi brought in a beautiful photo album full of our holiday pictures and Law Connor. You're there in all of them, but you weren't here today. We haven't heard from you in 4 years, and you can only hope you made it to Alaska or wherever you are and that you, your child, are both safe. Mother had been sick and depressed for years, and you can imagine why. The pain of being shunned by her own daughter, knowing she would never get to see her grandchild grow up. It has spread through her body like cancer and consumed her completely. All the suffering simply because you ran away like a temperamental little girl instead of accepting her help when you got pregnant out of wedlock. After dropping out of college and without a penny to your name, she only stepped up to help because she knew you weren't ready to raise a child properly, Marianne. Mother's duty doesn't end when her children leave home. Now that you're a mother yourself, I hope you will begin to understand that good parenting isn't about coddling children. It's about providing for them, and shaping them into the people they're supposed to become, whether they like it or not. I won't trouble you again. You made your intentions clear. I just thought you should know, Dad.
What the hell? Marianne was pregnant in 1992, before she even got here.
Before us? Do we have a long-lost sibling out there somewhere?
It's possible, but she could have given it up.
It's Sam.
Miscarried. Who knows?
Yeah, you're right. Do you think we could track down her father?
There's still a
You
picture.
mean the grandfather she never told us about? I don't think I want to.
You're not at all excited about having more family.
You saw the letter. I don't think we want any part of that.
Fine. Let's keep digging.
There's still a picture there I want to look at. Salmonberry Park? It's very bright.
Salmonberry Park. Huh. Is that some kind of commune?
Looks like it. So weird to imagine her living in a community like that. With, other people.
The weirdest part is how they all seem to love her. Where was prom queen Mary Ann when the whole town was turning on us?
Don't be a stranger. Keep on looking for those answers to the questions your head to which you're blind. Smiley face Shelley. Miss you already? Solom Browen. Sorry we're losing you to modern civilization and we'll miss your positive attitude and your adventurous spirit. Also your wild edibles picking skills. Haha. Pretty Marcus. Bon voyage, Marianne. Rick. Marianne, you had the warmest, most beautiful aura, and I know you'll keep on shining wherever you land. Keep peace and blessings. Jarita. Thanks for being our little ray of sunshine. Godspeed, Kabat, and Wati. I like your pictures. Love, Kamala. She was like, everybody else is filming this, I might as well write something too. Pictures, love them. This is the next one. This is lit up.
What's this?
Some sort of map?
I don't know what we're choosing here is the thing.
That's the Gold Lady's castle.
What's that plant thing on top?
Oh, those are definitely salmonberry flowers.
Hey, that degree in outdoor studies is paying off.
Some sort of clock?
You're building. So she started at the castle, duh. And she ends up here.
You need help?
Yeah, I'm stuck. Any ideas?
I want to figure out what this symbol means.
This looks like a dinner party with the old bear and the very old beaver.
Alright, that's Sam and Carol.
That's the Gold Lady's castle.
What's that plant
She was
thing
there.
on top?
Oh, those are definitely
Oh, was she
salmonberry
working
flowers.
as a clockwork
Hey,
first?
that
Or
degree in
that
outdoor
first?
Studies is paying off.
Some sort of clock? This
I mean,
is
she would have lived
the
here
princess's-
first.
This looks like a
And
dinner
then-
party with the old bear and the very old beaver.
Got
Yes.
it.
What's in there? Another letter?
I feel like you're just guessing which happened first, the clockwork thing or the flower.
Princess's Loss. Is this from the Book of Goblins?
She went on a
Not
lot.
that I know of.
Well,
Princess's
sure
Lost
looks
Treasure.
like it could be.
Princess's Lost. Once upon a time in an ancient and deep forest there lived a wise princess in a big wooden house. She had made it through the woods, and to that house was nothing left but the clothes on her back, a single item from her whole life, the splendid tiara. She lost almost everything in her desperate flight from the mad hunter. The trees tore the rucksack from her back and shredded her dress with a pattern of red welts on her skin. But through it all, she clutched the tiara close to her chest, fearing any misstep could cause it to fall from her arms and break. The tiara had its own spot in the big wooden house, a pillow near the window, where she would catch on its surface a shine and wink. The princess could stare for hours at the tiara, marveling at its beauty and running her thumb down its curves. Every morning she would wake and would tend to it, polishing its every surface to be sure it would. I want to just not look on like the white background. She would pick it up and place it on up. But hold on. Every morning she would wake and she would tend to it, polishing its every surface to be sure it shone as brightly as it possibly could. Then she would pick it up upon her head, and walk the woods, feeling somehow more complete. Because what, after all, was a princess without the crown? Every night she would place it upon its pillow, give it a quick kiss, and go to bed. On her way, she would pause and glance back to be sure it was still there. She hated to be separated from it, but she knew it was the safest on the pillow where she slept. One night, the princess woke to a raging storm. The wind howled against the walls, rattling the windows in their panes, fearing a gust might burst open a window and blow the tiara to the ground. She plucked it from its pillow and brought it to bed with her. All through the night she held the tiara close, and in the morning she woke to find herself still coddling it. The storm had passed, and the princess relaxed. That day was the same as any other. I heard that though she perhaps gave the tiara on even more thorough cleaning. and even more thorough cleaning. Grateful as she was that nothing had gone wrong, that night she placed the tiara upon his pillow, giving it a quick kiss and on the bed, calling on her way to be sure it was still there. In the morning, she woke and sensed immediately that something was wrong. In the living room, the tiara lay upon the ground, broken, dull and faded. Nothing else in the room had changed. The pillow was exactly where she had left it. The windows were closed. There had been no storm, no wind, no sign that anything at all could have gone amiss. Only the broken tiara mute upon the ground. She picked it up and held it in her arms with a great guttural cry, though she tried to fix and polish it, it was gone beyond repair, with no shine left. The princess held the tiara through the day and through the next night, sitting in the same spot at the window where she used to polish it. When the sun rose, she looked outside, and her gaze fixed on the sapling. She remembered how the sapling had survived the winter, clinging to the life despite the frozen, unforgiving earth. Without a word, she went out and buried the tiara in the ground beneath the sapling. And as the final scoop of dirt fell, the tiara fell truly gone, and with it, the final kick to her old self. She could only go forward and find a new place for herself in the world, where she was no longer truly a princess in tiara and a beautiful gown, but a wan woman, alone in the deep and ancient wood. And that was how the princess lost her most precious treasure and her title.
And that was how the princess lost her most precious treasure and her title. That was the story she read us that night.
God, it makes sense now.
Yeah, she got pregnant. And she ran away to start a new life. And then she made her way to Delos Crossing, where she was finally happy. But then the baby died.
I can't even imagine how she must have felt. She left everything behind, built a whole new life for him. And then he was just gone.
I guess having us helped her move on. But when it looked like we were gonna be taken away, she snapped. She just couldn't lose any more children. It really wasn't anything we did.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all this.
I don't either, but all I wanted was to understand what happened to her. And now I do.
Yeah. But we still haven't seen what's in that chest.
The 3 pi symbols.
Okay, so how do we open it?
The princess lost her most precious treasure. That's why it all happened.
I still can't wrap my head around it.
All right, should be easy enough.
O-L-E?
All right, should be easy enough.
Am I wrong? Oh, yeah. It should be L-E-O.
Why
Leo.
don't we just break this open?
There you go.
There's a crowbar right downstairs.
What? No. You don't want to try and figure out what all this means?
I'm so done with her.
I got it.
riddles.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Did it just get darker in here?
No, not at all. It's your eyesight.
Ollie, she noticed.
You realize that not only have you
How
write
was your
stories to
song?
understand and be understood, but what good is a story without a first act? I'm sorry I kept mine from you for so long. All my love, goblins.
Why does she have a photo of that tree locked in here?
It's where she buried Leo.
Is that?
Leo Ronan.
Why didn't she tell us about him? Why didn't she tell us any of this?
I mean, it's fucking terrible. That's why. Allie, did we do the right thing opening this?
We did. It's better we know what happened, even if it's hard. And there's one more thing we need to see.
Are you sure?
Yes. Come on, let's go to the dock. It's time to finish this. You really want to go? You sure we've seen everything?
Well, hold on
I
then.
guess we could stay a
Other
little
stuff
longer
is
if you think there's more to
feasible
find.
now. Alright. Plus, there's nothing else in here. Nope.
Baby.
But maybe. Okay, that's it.
The crafty goblin's loot.
That's from The Princess and the Two Thieves. I drew the original.
And I distinctly remember drawing that cake, which is arguably the best part of that illustration.
All right, Picasso.
It's pretty
And
good.
you probably remember what the goblins stole in that story, huh?
Once upon a time in the ancient deep forest, there lived a wise princess in a big wooden house. The house was built from the strong wood of the forest, and it kept the princess warm and safe. Princess was not a native of the forest, but she never spoke about where she had come from, for it made her cry. She did not have many friends, but that was how she liked it. The forest was big and deep, and many paths led to her house, but not many visitors passed by. Princess was happy to be left alone in a big house in the deep forest. She knew that the forest would provide for her, but that his generosity had to be respected. So she only took what she needed. And for a long time, life was just fine for the princess in the big wooden house. One winter day, when snow blanketed the earth and ice bent the trees low, wise princess realized the food was disappearing from her house. It was not much at first, only a few fruits and nuts and eggs vanishing during the night. Maybe it's the birds, she said, or the mice. And for a time, the princess was okay with losing some food, but the winter was long and the little creatures needed to eat too. But then small items started to disappear as well: spoons, plates, forks, knives, and blankets. It was as every time she was in one part of the house, something disappeared to another room. It can't be the birds or mice, said the princess. I think I have a thief. So when she went outside to look for traces in the snow and noises in the wind, but there was nothing up to be found, nor to be heard. That's strange, said the princess. Maybe the thief is hiding inside my house. For many days she hunted, looking behind the curtains and under the bed, in the attic and the chimney, behind the poles and under the carpets, but she found nothing. And as she searched, food kept on disappearing night after night. I'll make a cake, frowned the princess. A big cake with every egg and fruit and nut I still have, so that I only have one thing to keep my eye on. The whole day making the cake and using everything she had left. The cake she made was so big she could hardly carry it. If I manage to protect the cake, I'll be able to survive the long winter, she said. So they added a lock onto the oven, and she kept the big cake safe inside. But the next morning, the lock had been opened, and the cake had disappeared. At first, Mrs. cried, because the cake was the last of her food until the snow melted. Then she noticed 2 trails of tiny feet in the spilled floor. Followed the track to the hidden hatch in the floorboards. This is how the princess realized that 2 tiny thieves were living under their wooden house, right below her feet. Doesn't matter which order we do it. Fruits and nuts. Are you the nuts? You're the fruits.
Maybe they
Candy
took
was
some
never
of the
stolen.
princess's fruit. Some flour for the cake, maybe? Maybe not.
No. Fruits, nuts. Are you nuts?
Did they steal candy?
Nope.
Wait,
You know what? Just ignore that. Take the eggs.
I'm pretty sure they stole some eggs. What if they took
And the
some
forks.
spoons? That's it. I always wondered where that drawing went. She said it was her favorite, and then one day it just disappeared. The crafty goblin's good deeds.
Of course. The goblins had to help out the creatures of the forest to pay off their debt to the pelican.
Well, what did they do?
You know, I don't really remember.
Scratch a sniff. What's his name? Crafty Goblin's Good Deeds. Am I blind? Am I blind? Is it the party? These are all in the party. No, this one has the... Didn't we read this one, though? For the OG puzzle? All the time in the deep ancient forest, there lived a pair of crafty goblins in the cave below a big wooden house. They lived with a wise princess who shared as much food as them as she was able, but it was never quite enough to let the goblins hungry, very hungry. Always hungry. One day, as they were out foraging for food, the pious pelican landed on a rock and dumped a smorgasbord from her beak, which the goblins knew was magic and never emptied. There were king's crab in red, blue, gold, and scarlet, viney blue shrimp, pink shelled scallops, and long brown clams, purple spiny urchins, and even one pickly red sea cucumber. The food just kept coming. They watched as the pelican ate one clam, then took a nap. Do you think she would mind if we took just a little? Asked one goblin to another. Her beak never empties. She wouldn't possibly miss a couple of crabs, said the second, licking her lips. They were agreed, and so they crept over, fletched some crabs, and ran. Goblins scarfed the crabs, but as soon as they finished, they found that they were still hungry. She won't miss a handful of shrimp, said one goblin to the other. The goblins scarfed the shrimp, but when they finished, they found that they were still hungry, maybe also a few scallops. She said the other goblin. Goblins scarfed the scallops, but when they were finished, they found that they were still hungry. So they went back for clams and the urchins, and finally even the sea cucumber. Finally, they were not hungry. But then, there was also nothing left. Just then, the pelican woke up. What happened to my food? She asked. Unable to lie about it, the goblins confessed their crime. The pelican was dismayed. She was a charitable-hearted bird, and she could tell the crafty goblins were growing little creatures. Goblins, said the pious pelican, I will share my food with you, but you must in return follow my example and be generous with others, as I am with you. Oh my. Take that into heart, and I will have considered this debt paid. But we have nothing to give, said the goblins. You have your nimble hands and your crafty brains and your loving hearts, said the pelican. Crafty goblins realized how much they had to give. For the rest of the day, they looked for ways to help other creatures of the forest. They found the stalwart moose struggling with the itchy, hard-to-reach spot on his back. So they climbed up to and gave it a good scratching. Next they helped the old bear, who could not get the honey out of the narrow beehive. They climbed up to the tree with the hive, and then dropped it, cracking it open. Finally they found the princess crying over a loss she would not speak about. Wrapped the little arms around her and gave her a great big hug and stayed until she felt better. When they were done, they returned to the pious pelican. Did it feel good being as generous as I am? As the pelican. It did, said the goblins. I'm glad, said the pelican. We all have problems that we can't solve on our own, but if everyone goes about with generosity in their hearts, then there is always someone on hand to help. But we all must commit, to do so, or there may be no one there to help when you need it. It made sense to the goblins, and they thanked the pious pelican for food and lessons. Of course, by this time, they were hungry again, and that they remained on an ongoing problem until the next day. Stalwart Moose taught them to fish, but that's another story.
they gave the stalwart moose a good scratch on the back. They broke open the beehive for the bear. They hugged the princess when she was crying. Nailed it. Our lives would have been so different if their friendship hadn't gone to shit.
The Pelican Crossing is a specialty of boutique located near the Oshia Glacier, catering to the Castano Channel tourists as well as Delos Crossing locals, specializing in the assortment of high-quality products from home accessories, handmade souvenirs, to personalized apparel, and locally made art. Pelican Crossing will be the first store to act as a relay between the buzzing arts and crafts scene and customers. In addition to a wide array of novelty handcrafted products, the consumer will enjoy friendly and knowledgeable customer service from Vecchi store co-owner Tessa Vecchi and up-and-coming artist Marianne Ronan. Business plan is prepared to obtain financing in the amount of $20,000 to purchase inventory and to help cover expenses in the first year of operations. In year 1, the Pelican Crossing plans to break even. In year 2, we plan to generate moderate profit. Working on the executive summary part of our business plan, what do you think, Tessa?
The old bear's gifts for the princess. I'm totally blanking on that story. What did he give her again?
Why don't we open
I
up
read
the
this
book
one
and
too.
search?
I think. Once upon a time in the ancient D4s, the old bear stood on the bank of the river, flipping at salmon on their way to the spawning grounds. Just as he got his paw on a particularly fat one, he heard a woman shouting for help. He considered simply eating a salmon, but then she screamed again. As he lumbered over to investigate, after a short walk, he found the princess clinging to the top of a tree while a wolf snarled and snapped at the base of the tree. Old Bear would normally not get in the middle of such a situation, after all. As a fellow predator, he understood the wolf's need to hunt. But when he saw the princess, he was struck by her beauty, and he knew he had to help. With a great roar, the bear heaved at his hind legs, rising to his full height. The wolf snapped and snarled in his direction, but the bear roared again. The wolf took off into the trees. And then the wolf took off into the trees, tail between his legs. The old bear fell back down on his all fours and stared up at the princess. She regarded him fearfully. "You can come down," he said. "How do I know you didn't save me just so you can eat me yourself?" asked the princess. "I suppose this is a fair question," admitted the old bear, "but I promise you, I won't eat you." The princess had no reason to trust the old bear except that he had kind eyes, and so she slowly made her way down the tree. When she reached the ground, the bear only watched her, and she supposed she was not going to be eaten today. "Thank you," said the old bear. Or she told the old bear. "Of course," he said. "Can I walk with you back to your home?" "Of course," said the princess. So the princess and the old bear walked together through the forest back to the big wooden house. After that day, the princess would occasionally find gifts from the bear: a fresh caught salmon, a handful of ripe berries, newly bloomed bluebell. One spring, when a sudden thaw flooded the path of the princess's home, the old bear was there, and she rode his back across the river. The old bear began to think the princess should be his mate. After all, she had no mate, and she needed one, and he could keep her warm and provide her as much suitable den, could catch fish for her and protect her from wolves. She in turn would brush out his fur and pick berries without smushing half of them, and scratch that one part of his back he couldn't reach. And with how she took care of the goblins, she would be an excellent mother for his cubs. One day the old bear came to the ring of spruce and asked the princess to be his bride. "I'm sorry," said the princess. "You are a very good friend, and I appreciate all you've done for me, but I cannot marry you. You're a bear. I'm a princess. It would never work." The old bear was crushed. "Can you still be friends?" "We will always be friends," said the princess, "but I will never marry you." The old bear and the princess carried out the friendship, and after 1 year he tried again to ask her to be his bride, but once again she refused him. This happened 1 year later, and 1 year after that. And then finally the princess said, "Old bear, you are my dear friend, and I appreciate all you've done for me. I would sooner you have left me into the wolves to marry you. That is the way it'll always be. I have my hands full with 2 goblins who live under my house, and they're all I need." That wounded the old bear deeply, but it was finally enough to stop his proposals. They remained friends, and he continued to give her gifts of fresh salmon and ripe berries and newly bloomed bluebells, but the old bear never again asked the princess to be his bride, as much as he might have wanted to. Alright, what are you?
Some roses, maybe?
Nope.
Wait. Some honey?
Nope.
Maybe not. A newly bloomed bluebell? A handful of ripe berries? Fresh caught salmon? Nice. Man, he had it bad. Just couldn't let go.
Sorry for the note under your door like a prison inmate. You okay? I stopped by and rang a couple times this week, but you didn't answer. I could see the light in the hayloft. Figured you were in, but didn't want to talk. Hope I didn't ruin everything. I know I probably came on kind of strong, but thing is I don't know how to talk to a woman like you. You're strong and kind, and you know it so much it's hard for me to know how to keep up. I guess all that went out into my head, but I want you to know I got the message and I'm going to get out of your hair now, and there doesn't need to be any bad feelings. We can pass this, we can pass in the street and say hello or not. It's okay. Noticed your car was leaking, so I put some sealant in there. You might need to take it to the shop, though. Let me know if you want me to come with you, because sometimes these guys like to rip you off. If not, no big deal, Sam.
The very old Beaver's repair list.
That's the story where the princess's house gets damaged by a storm and the animals help her fix it.
Yeah. What did they do to fix it again?
That's Claire, right? I believe. Once upon a time in the ancient deep forest, there lived a wise princess in Baywood Castle. One night, a particularly violent storm shook the house, shook the shingles on the roof and the planks in the walls. It even shook the beams on which the house stood, blowing the whole thing near to the ground. The princess hid in the closet, fearing the house would come down on her as she slept. In the morning, the house was still standing, but it was badly damaged. The storm had blown shingles off the roof and planks off the walls, and even bent the post upon which the house stood. The first two things she could fix, but the last concerned her. What will I do? Despaired the wise princess, for though she knew many things, did not know how to fix the big wooden house. Just then the old bear came by to see if the princess had any trouble in the storm. When he found her nailing planks back into a place, he said, "Stop, princess, let me do it for you." "Happy to do it," said the princess, "but if you want to help with the roof, you may." When the pair were done with the roof and the walls, they examined the bent support. "I could throw my body against it," said the old bear. "I am very large." He stretched up onto his hind legs, being sure the princess could appreciate how very large he was, then charged straight at the post. He threw his body against it, which, with impressive thud. The impact moved the post, but too far, and ended up bent the other direction. The wise princess decided more precision was needed. Thought then of the old burial beaver who kept an excellently crafted dam. Perhaps she could help. She went looking for the burial beaver and found the industrious animal hard at work slapping the ground mud on a part of her dam that had been blown apart in the storm. Most of the structure wasn't hard because the beaver was very good at building things. Princess knew she had come to the right place. "Beaver," she said, "my house was damaged in the storm. Would you help me fix it?" "I believe I could do that, yes." And the very old beaver, as she paused at fixing her own den, to follow the princess. The very old beaver examined the big wooden house and nodded. "It'd be very easy fix," she said, and she set about rightening the post with loud snaps of her tail. Then she was done. The wise princess stroked the beaver's head. "Thank you, beaver," she said. The wind blew the shingles off the roof and the planks off the walls, and even bent this post. "Now thanks to you, I still have a home." Nothing of it," said the very old beaver. He returned to work on her own den once again. That winter, the very old beaver grew ill, very ill. She was not able to fix her den nor to gather food. When the princess found out, she set about delivering meals to the beaver. She brought stews of corn and beans in baskets full of bark and twigs from the beaver's favorite aspen. One day, the wise princess noticed that the beaver's den had begun to fall apart. She set about fixing it, and though she was not as talented as the very old beaver, the fix kept the creature warm and dry. "Thank you," said the very old beaver. "Of course," said the princess. "You helped me when the storm blew my house to the ground. Thanks to you, I still have a home, and I'm happy to do the same." Princess continued to nurse the old beaver until the day she came to the dam, and the forest was still. No birds sang, no branches rustled, no small things skittered within the underbrush. "Oh," said the princess, staying steadily at the dam, where she knew the little beaver had passed on. "Goodbye, my friend." And that is how the very old beaver saved the big wooden house, and how the wise princess repaid her kindness. So it was the shingles, planks, post.
She fixed the roof shingles. She fixed the planks that were blown off the walls. She slapped the post with her. All right. Damn. That must have been rough on Eddie.
Yeah, he doesn't really like to talk about her.
"Dear Marianne, you cover your ears every time I try to have a conversation with you, so I thought I'd have a better chance of doing this in a letter. I know you don't like to saying goodbye, so I'll keep my melancholic rambling short and sweet. Thank you with all my heart for taking care of me for these past few months. Can't even imagine how exhausting it must have been for you to look after a sick old lady when you also have two small children at home. Know you want to keep fighting the disease and hoping for recovery, but it's always been a great strength of mine to know when it's time to let go. The time has come. I'd like to ask you for one last favor. Please take care of Eddie. After I'm gone, my poor boy puts on a brave front ever since his father died, but I know he's in pain. I'd be so much more at peace knowing he's still a family. Still has a family. He still has family. Maybe he could teach the kids how to fish. He loves spending time with them. Thank you for the warmth and the peace you brought into my life. Give the kids a kiss from me, will you, Carol? I believe that's everything. I think we're good. Nothing new over here? Got them all down? No, I think we're good to leave.
You really want to go? You sure we've seen everything?
We've seen everything.
Either way, I'm ready for this to be over.
Me too.